Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the GN Sports Show here on ABS TV. We'd like to welcome our listening guests on ABS Radio and also those of you who are joining us on Facebook. So it's another week, GN Sports Show, another packed session. As always, we kick the show off with our young footballers from Generation Next. We have a couple of young players, and then we're going to do a recap of last weekend's action in the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League. We have a couple of cyclists joining us on the program as well, and our usual From the Parents' Perspective segment, and we're going to wrap the show up with Dr. Rick. Ricky, another packed show.
Well, welcome back, Zico.
It's good to be back.
After that 2 weeks, I hate to see you had me in the hot seat.
You
had me in the hot seat, Zico.
Relatively speaking, I'm pretty sure you did a good job. I left you in the capable hands of lovely Miss Shannon Jarvis.
And of course,
I don't know what hot seat you're talking about.
The hot seat. Anyway, but
it's good to be back.
We had a good co-host that assisted us in the fill-in in the person of Alistair Savory, who we'd like to thank very much for assisting us in that. Before we go any further, it'll be very remiss of me to not wish my darling wife Sharon a happy birthday, and in 3 sleeps I will be with her. You
have gotten into so much trouble, Ricky. Sharon, happy birthday to you, my friend. Oh, before we start, my little cousin in Seavey Farm, Malik, I hope it's not past his bedtime. If he doesn't go to sleep before I thank him for tuning in. So Malik, good night. I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy the show.
Yes, and before we get into our 2 under 11 players, we'd just like to thank the sponsors for Generation Next Football Club, and I think we have that queued in now. The executive of GNFC Rebels, I wish to thank our corporate sponsors who have invaluably contributed to ensuring the holistic development of our nation's youth in sports and education. Our platinum sponsor, North Coast Hardware, with 2 locations, the Village Walk on Fries Hill Road and on the Blue Waters Main Road. For all your hardware needs, North Coast Hardware is the place to go. Our gold sponsor, Frank Wall Limited, the Candyman, the sole distributor for the M&M brands and lots of confectionery. Our silver sponsor, Cannonier Gomez & Sons, famous for fairness, located in the Royal Palm Court on Fries Hill Road. For all your insurance needs, make sure you check Cannonier Gomez & Sons. Our silver sponsor, Island Photo, with 2 locations, the Royal Palm Court and Fries Hill Road and Lower Redcliffe Street. For all your photography needs, passports and pictures, frames, head over to Island Photo. Our bronze sponsor, Beach Limers. For fine dining on the ocean at Fort James, Beach Limers is the place to be. Our cargo sponsor, Antigua Cargo, above Bike Plus on Independence Avenue. For all your shipping requirements, large or small, John Andrew and his wonderful staff will take care of you. Our football sponsor, XL Engineering on Fries Hill Road, distributors for FG Wilson Generators. For all your generating needs and maintenance, call XL Engineering. Our brokerage sponsor, Francis Trading Agency on High Street. For anything to do with brokerage, check out Francis Trading Agency.
So as always, we definitely want to thank our sponsors. Those are the sponsors for our Academy at Generation Next, and by extension, by making the Academy possible, we also have the spin-off for the show. But we're going to kick the show right off, and joining us in the studios, we'd like to welcome 2 of our on 11 players at Generation Next Football Club, Alexander Fuller and Jayden Goodman. We'd like to thank you guys for joining us in the studio tonight.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Okay, we'll start with Lexi, and he's the senior one in terms of years of service at Generation Next.
Yeah, Lexi's been with us for a while.
Yes, I remember when Lex first joined. Coach Nestor predicted from a tender young age of, I think he was about 5. And Nestor predicted that he was going to be an excellent player. Coach Nestor would be very proud of you today because you're living up to all his expectations.
Thank you.
So Lex, why did you start playing football? What got you into it?
Just the feeling of being so excited.
Oh, was it because you saw some famous footballers playing, or you just loved the sport?
Love the sport.
Love the sport, okay. And Jayden?
Yeah,
How about you? Why did you start playing the sport of football?
I started playing the sport of football because I thought it was a good experience in life.
Okay. And you're thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jayden, what position do you play in the field?
I play strike, right wing, left, defend, goalkeeper.
Oh, so you're
So you
very
do everything.
very versatile.
Well, that's good.
And Lex, how about you? What position do you play?
I play left winger goalkeeper.
Yeah, okay, Lex has a wicked left foot.
Yeah.
He's a left footer.
Those
Tell me
the
about
left-footed players usually are hard to come by, but when you get them, they're usually special.
Yes. And what school do you attend, Lex?
I attend St. Nicholas Primary School.
And what class are you in?
I'm in grade 5.
And do you have a favorite subject?
PE.
PE?
Let me shake your hand.
You know Zico is a PE teacher. I thought it was comprehensive.
Yes, that's what I do. I teach physical education. It's a little bit different from what you do in primary school, but you'll get there eventually.
And Jayden, what school do you attend?
Sunnyside,
And what class are you in?
grade 4,
And do you have a favorite subject? What is it?
computer.
Computer. That's a first.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had computer
I'm
science
so
yet.
scared.
It's usually most schools
Look at
don't
Finley
do it
looks.
so young. So I guess that's probably one of the reasons we never had
Yeah.
one of our younger athletes listing computers as one of their favorite subjects. But yeah, that's pretty good.
No, we just completed your division. The under 11s division has been completed in the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League. How did you enjoy playing in that league?
I thought it was really fun, but
And how about you, Jayden?
Well, I thought it was great.
Yes, and particularly as you won your division.
Yeah.
especially.
Yes.
It's another trophy for you, Lex.
No,
Oh
it's-
man, that's like 20 by now.
Probably.
Loads. You have loads of medals.
A lot of medals.
I think almost every division that Lex has played in, he's won.
I know you've won the 7s, the 9s.
And now the 11s. And this is his first year in the under 11s.
Pretty good start. What are some of the teams that you enjoy playing against in our competition?
I enjoy playing Earthquakes.
Earthquakes. How about you, Jayden?
Earthquakes.
And I know Jayden enjoyed the Earthquakes, particularly he scored a number of goals against them.
I almost scored a bicycle, but that hurt.
Who's your favorite player, Lex? Favorite player and favorite team? I bet you he says Messi.
Me.
Yeah, very good answer. Big up, dear Lex. Big up. I like that answer.
And Manchester City.
City's your favorite team. How about you, Jayden? Favorite player?
Well, same as he said, me and I would say Juventus.
Juventus.
No famous footballers have gotten the credit.
And
Very
Ronaldo.
good. Big up to you too.
But I like these two young men and their confidence. Back yourselves, and I like that. So your favorite player is yourself, and that means you're going to continually work hard to improve, right?
Yes.
Good stuff.
And I know you're a little young for this, but what's your ambition in life? What would you like to be?
I'd like to be a footballer and have a lot of money.
Well, that's one benefit. That's one good thing. How about you, Jayden?
I'd like to be a rapper and a footballer.
You're
A rapper and a
footballer. Well,
But
I'm pretty sure.
No, I would rather be a YouTuber.
on YouTube? Okay, now, well, fellas, both your ambitions are pretty good, and there's nothing wrong with them, but I urge you to take your education seriously, right?
I
Because
do.
particularly if you make it into the professional sports, if you don't have a proper education, you can lose all the money that you've earned very quickly. And also, when you're at about the age of 35, like just around a little past Zico's age, your career is basically over. So you have the rest of your life to do something
You're
else.
calling me old?
No, I'm not calling you old. I'm old. I'm calling you senior. That sounds better?
No, it doesn't sound better. It means exactly the same
No,
thing.
it doesn't mean the same thing. You see, I'm not like you. I don't dye my hair.
No,
Okay.
I'm not. Nice try. 35, 36 is by no means old. But really, really good advice. You know, it's important to balance sports and education because it's important, and that's one of the things that we emphasize at Generation Next, the importance of balancing both. And I'm pretty sure both of your parents are telling you it's important that both are important. Sports are important, sports are good, but you got to hit the books as well.
And where would you like to play professionally if you do make it there? In what area? In Europe, England, France, Germany?
England.
England? Not in the States?
Nope.
Nope. How about you, Jayden?
France.
France? Oh,
Not bad.
not bad. That's another first.
Not
These
bad
guys
at
are
all.
shocking us tonight.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. Okay, shout out time. One of the things that we do whenever we have young players in the studio, you get a chance to shout out anybody you like. Want to go first, Lex?
My dad,
And what's his name?
Ali Fuller.
And
My mom, Julia Fuller. And my brother, Finley Fuller.
Finn.
And my new baby cousin, Ocean.
okay.
How about you, Jay?
I'd like to shout out my grandpa, Cliff Goodman, and my mom, Dorina Goodman, and my cousins, and my Uncle Phil.
You want to give us the names of your cousins?
Hmm?
You want to give us the names of your cousins? Those too much to mention.
Brandon and Brian and Bryson and Brooks.
Okay. All B's.
That's good. Well, guys, I'd like to thank you for joining us. Since we got to know you a little better, and the viewing public had a treat as well. Excellent stuff. First time we had two players back themselves as being their favorite player. So I think I'm going to record today.
Yeah, it's a
Excellent.
first.
And
And I'm proud of them for
Yeah.
actually saying it,
I can't
having
figure out-
the nerve to say it.
I can't figure out a better way to start our segment. So again, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
And what we're going to do, as we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, we're going to do a recap from last weekend's action at the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League at the training facility, the ABFA training facility at Painters.
And I'd just like to thank our sponsors for the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League. As the name suggests, our title sponsors Kenneth A. Gomez and Sons and Netherlands Insurance. We'd like to thank our gold sponsors, A.S. Bryden and Sons, and by extension, the Milo brand of products. We'd like to thank Antigua Masonry Products, and of course, Oasis Water, which is the official water for the league. Without those sponsors, and most of them have been on board with us from the inception and have stayed with it. So we're very grateful for that.
So we can go straight into the recap, the scores and the standings for as they are. We're still continuing now on the 15th division. Five Islands played against Earthquakes, and Five Islands came away with a 1-0 victory in our U15 division. The U17s, they were actually 4 matches. The first one, Generation Next FC had the better of Willie Keys FC 3-1. Rangers edged Cutting Edge FC 1-0. Freeman's Village victors over Earthquakes FC 2-0. And Five Islands beating Param FC 2-0 in the under 17 division. So as it is, the under 15 continued, and New Evolution FC still maintaining their lead at the top with 15 points, followed by Generation Next FC on 12 and Five Islands FC also on 12 points. In the under 17 division, Freeman's Village leading the way. 2 victories from 2 outings with 6 points. Generation Next FC with a win and a draw so far in their 2 matches on 4, and Five Islands with a win and a draw with 1 victory so far on 3 points. So those are the top 3 for the U17 division. So Ricky.
We'll just take a little break here and come back with the Cyclists.
So short commercial break, and we'll be back with Aiden Cannonier from the Wadadli Cycling Club, and Aiden and Joyce Murray-Watkins, and they're going to have a quick chat with us, give us a little bit more information on what's going on with their club and cycling in Antigua. So Stay tuned, we'll be back after this short break.
Time to wake up. Time to prepare for the day. Time to learn. Time to make a difference. Time to look after yourself. Time to see your healthcare provider. Don't let cervical cancer stop you from unleashing your potential. Now is the time to get vaccinated. Now is the time to get screened. Now is the time to end cervical cancer. For more information, visit us at www.paho.org/endcervicalcancer.
As educators, we are always searching for ways to make our lives better. That is why the ebook is such a great addition to our educative arsenal. With it, we are able to create groups for specific classes, broadcast media directly to student devices, create tests and control exactly what our students see, all from the ebook. No more fumbling through textbooks. Work smarter, not harder. Let's make it easy with the ebook. So much more than a book. Collect yours from the Board of Education.
In case of an earthquake and the place not shaking, drop, cover, and hold on. Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake,
there's a few tips that can keep you from harm. In case of an earthquake, you gotta stay calm. Move away from doors, windows, and things that can fall. Try not to use steps or elevators at all.
drop, protect your head on your face. Don't go running all over the place.
Cover,
under a bed or a table, against a wall that's firm and stable.
hold on.
You must hold on, don't panic, stay calm.
Don't move until the shaking stops.
Here it is.
Drop, cover, and hold on.
Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake.
Drop, cover, and hold on.
Learn how to protect yourself during an earthquake. Log on to weready.org. That's weready.org for more information.
Said I'm feeling so sick, yeah. But this fetter can miss no. It's days now, I can't get out of my bed. Complaining, this ailment treating me wicked. Stressed out, cause I know I miss a thing. I feel like I'm in a prison.
And we're back, and joining me to do this segment, obviously whenever we have cycling, my good friend Alistair is going to be on. Alistair, welcome back to the GN Sports Show.
Well, I've actually been
yeah,
filling in for you over the last few weeks.
couple of weeks.
I'm the
So,
guy. And
who do we have in the studio tonight?
Well, we have two young cyclists from the Wadadli Cycling Academy. We've got young Mr.
Aiden Murray-Watkins.
and
Joyce Murray-Watkins.
I take it that you two are brothers and sisters. Nah, just a lucky guess.
yeah.
We'd like to welcome you guys, and just to give us an idea of what it's like. First of all, how did both of you get into cycling? Because I know growing up we had our bikes and we just rode around and had fun doing that. But what was the motivation for you both getting into cycling?
Well, it's mostly my mom and my older brother. Yes.
So your older brother rides?
Yes, he taught me how to ride a bike, and my mom introduced me to the cycling club.
Excellent. How about you, Joyce?
Same thing with my older brother. He used to take us on bike rides around the city. Then we had to go long ways all the way down to Jabwa. Then we had to ride all the way back to All Saints Road.
Oh, yes.
But then we got introduced to the cycling club, and then we started to go to practice on every Saturday morning.
Excellent stuff.
And we see them all the time. Well, I mean, Cassandra's very, very proactive with the Wadadli Cycling Academy, and she's now the secretary for Antigua Barbuda, the assistant secretary for Antigua Barbuda Cycling Federation. So, you know, these two youngsters have joined the ranks, and they were blooded just over a week ago in their first races, and all podiumed. So it was a clean sweep. You came first.
And so you guys,
Joyce?
Aiden, you're holding out.
Third.
First and third, you guys are holding out. So we got a rule on the GN Sports Show. Whenever you get here, whatever accomplishments whatever things you've done good, you got to be proud to say it.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So you got first place in your race. You got third place. Excellent stuff. High fives all around.
Very good.
Yes. Excellent stuff.
So, I know we asked, well, you said you saw me this morning, so you're at grammar school.
Yes, I'm at grammar school.
What form are you in?
I'm in Form 1, Class 1A1.
What house?
Greenhouse.
Oh, you're a branch fellow.
Excellent.
Oh, excellent.
Well, we won our recent sports day, which was in February. We won our sports day that time. Yeah, easily winning. Yes.
Yeah, you can tell we both went to grammar school as well. Simple way.
And we're both branchmen, so
always
double
fun.
one.
And
Good to go.
We're both proud branchmen, so excellent stuff. Couldn't have been placed in a better house.
Well, he was on this morning's walkathon, and there wasn't too many old boys, unfortunately, but the youngsters that were there certainly had a good time. And DJ Rhythm Master was kicking some tunes off DJ Nez's truck, so it was really, really good.
I was sort of looking forward to it, but I think my boss would have frowned at the idea of me playing hooky. So,
playing hooky to accommodate the old enemy.
I heard on the side of caution and reported to my desk job.
There you go. And Joyce, what school are you attending? I mean, I know
I go to the Sunnyside Tutorial School.
And what house are you in at Sunnyside?
Arrowax, which is Yellow House.
That's the same as my daughter was as well.
Today we had sports today, but then we lost. Cheerleading came second in actual sports.
You did? Very good, very good. So again, another proud athlete. And you also you were here last week because you were here on account of basketball, wasn't it? So this young lady is multi-talented. Do you do other sports as well, Aiden?
Yes, I play cricket.
What other sport do you play, Joyce?
I'm a gymnast.
And gymnastics. Very good. Very good.
Aiden plays cricket as well.
Very well, cricket player.
I get really excited when, especially the young ladies, not only play sports but play multiple sports, because traditionally girls are not pushed into athletics.
Yeah.
And when I say athletics, I don't necessarily just mean running, but sports in general.
Yeah.
And it's sad because there are so many more opportunities available for females as opposed to men.
Yeah, I mean, Tamiko Butler has been an exemplary example of, what young women here can achieve.
And through
she
cycling.
went through cycling. She actually is doing a triathlon, an introduction to triathlon course next week from the 15th to the 18th. So that's been done at the CSET Vipers Pool Clubhouse. But over and above, Ricky and I have had this discussion over the last couple of weeks as well. We've touched on it, and it is really, really disheartening in some regards to see how few young girls are getting involved in a variety of sports. I know that certainly our cycling club, we've got a couple of young women that we're looking at, that we're going to encourage to come on board to give Joyce a little competition, so that we can actually have, hopefully the same, or I don't expect it to be the same level of growth as the junior, female football league, which has just exploded this season. I mean, it's been incredible and well supported. But if we can get more young ladies into cycling, that would be fantastic. And other sports too.
Yeah, I'm curious though, because cycling, from my vantage point, hasn't been a sport that is popular among young persons or popular among people generally. What are some of the and I can ask you this question, being involved in cycling, what are some of the measures put in place to try to reach out and try to capture more individuals and have them gravitate to cycling? What are some of the things that the clubs are doing presently?
Well, this is where Roadrunner Cycling Club and Wadadli Cycling Academy have moved in a different direction. Unfortunately for cycling, a lot of the individuals that have been the backbone of the sport have not been proactive in this in any way, shape or form. In fact, there's a very poor record of club structure. And so you have a situation where you have youngsters that come into the sport and they lose interest. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of distractions these days, and there's a lot of distractions at a variety of ages, as you will have a struggle with football. You know, once a young guy gets a job or he gets a car or he gets a girlfriend, they move on. And you know, that compounds the situation, especially when you don't have, like we've already agreed, a club structure that can encourage and mentor and nurture some of the youngsters along. So our club is, we're looking at a variety of avenues, because one of the things that we've learned in talking to the bike shops, for example, is that BMX and mountain bikes are the largest selling bikes. So we are now looking at how we can create BMX racing, hopefully within school curricula, to get the teachers, the phys ed teachers engaged so that they can organize and run events that will allow us to then create inter-schools challenge, which at the end of the year kids from around the island can engage in. And it makes sense because BMX, like mountain bikes, are, you know, as now important to the cycling world as road racing, because everything was road racing. BMX and mountain bikes have so many genres of discipline, and they're exciting, very exciting. Grown men on BMX bikes, I want to get one. They're great.
All right, so Aiden and Joyce.
No, sorry.
Aiden and Joyce. One of the things we do on the GN Sports Show, shout out. Anybody you guys want to give a shout out to? Go ahead, Joyce.
Ladies first.
My brother Asher, my mom Cassandra, my dad Elvis, my grandma Jennifer, my sister Rene, and my little brother Russo.
How about you, Aidan?
What about you, Aidan?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my mom and my dad, because without the both of them, I would just be not here. Be able to be in the sport.
Excellent point.
And the rest of my family as well.
Okay,
that's
very nice.
So I want to encourage you guys to continue working.
Yes.
I mean, first place and third place, not a bad way to start.
No. And I know that we're courting a couple of young ladies, young girls to come along, and a couple of young guys, so that as we work our way through the Antigua Barbuda Cycling Federation season, we will have some more competition for you juniors to battle out. Yeah, more competition is good for everybody.
I see Rene.
Rene is sneaked in.
Rene is here. So what we're going to do, again, congratulations to you guys on your podium finishes.
Lovely having you on board.
Thank you for joining us. I want to encourage you to work hard. We're going to take a quick, short break so we can get Rene mic'd up so he can join us, and we have a quick chat. So we'll be back shortly on the GN Sports Show.
Good show.
Said I'm feeling so sick, yeah. But this better can't miss, no. It's days now, I can't get out of my bed. Complain. This ailment treating me wicked, stressed out, cause I don't want miss a thing. I feel like I'm in a prison.
The Concerned Parent Teacher Sports Association presents the 16th annual Jillian Brazier Basketball Shootout, April 14 to the 21st, 2019 at the JSC Sports Complex. It's the Jillian Brazier Basketball Shootout. Competing this year will be Jewel of Ontario, Cyclones, Wadadli Ballers, and host CPTSA Wings. This event is sponsored by the Antigua and Barbados Social Security, Hutchinson's Antigua Limited, INET, Subway, Andrew Wholesale, Oasis Water, Visi Billboard, St. John's Taxi Association, Jayden Industries, Stitch World, and First Choice Supermarket. Admission is only $5 EC per game. Remember, it's the 16th annual Jillian Brazier Basketball Shootout. It's female basketball, so come on out and support.
Many people struggle to maintain a lasting relationship, sometimes opening up to someone, believing they are different, only to be disappointed. They say there's always some madness in love, but there's also some reason in madness. Matters of the heart. Let's find the solution together.
Thanks a lot for staying with us, and as we mentioned, joining us in the studio, no stranger to the cycling fraternity and even to us on the GN Sports Show. Rene Gayal. Rene's in the building. Top junior cyclist in Antigua.
Top junior cyclist, and he's a threat to a lot of cyclists in the region and the seniors. Oh man,
excellent stuff. So Rene, thanks a lot for joining us again. Welcome back. Welcome back. So since the last time we spoke to Rene, I've been hearing good things. What are some of the... Give us an update. What's going on with you, buddy?
Well, things have been going very good. The racing has been it started out very good. I pulled off a first for the first race of the season. It's been well. How things going for the training right now is on and off, but I'm on my bike still.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
I know I'm trying to egg you on because I added you to our group, and tonight it was great. Running down from Sir Vivian Richards Stadium with you, cracking on. Obviously, you didn't do as well as you'd hoped in the BVI. That was just down to lack of conditioning. Yeah. And obviously, we've got a good race this weekend, circa 35 to 40 miles. How's preparation going for that?
Well, preparation is very good as well. I've been sick for a few days, but I'm on my bike again. I'm feeling quite well right now. And hopefully, I will win the race Sunday.
So you're looking to take out some seniors, some of the elite riders as well, because we know last year you and Emmanuel really did a dance on a few of the elite riders for sure.
Well, yes, I learned from the best, my brother, You can see it runs in the blood.
Yeah.
So other than this race first of all, this race on the weekend, where exactly is it?
This one's going to start at the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium. From there, we will head out through by Blackout Cultural Park, Potworks, up to Freetown and ride around Freetown Village. We then come back down, and then when we hit Lyons, just past Frankie's, we turn left and head for Bethesda, come up Red Hill, down through Cobb's Cross, back up Horswood Hill into Liberta, back up into All Saints along Jonas Road and back to the stadium. So it should be around the 35, 40 mile mark. So it's not particularly long. There's a moderate amount, there's a moderate amount of climbing, a little more climbing than usual maybe, yeah?
I think I'd probably give up at Freetown.
Well, you'd surprise yourself, you know. I mean, football is a good conditioner for cyclists.
If I ride from Servive to Freetown, there has to be a pause in the race.
Yeah, but I wouldn't expect you to do it straight off the bat because it takes time to build up.
That's why they have control start. So,
So other than this race on the weekend, what are some of the competitions that you are preparing for throughout the course of this season? Could be local, could be regional. Just give us an idea of what you're preparing, what your training is gearing up for.
Well, I've been pushing myself to the races that are happening overseas, like in Martinique, the most important races for the season. They have the Tobago Classics, which I wish to attend to that one too. They have the Jaunty in Angola and the OECS, same place in Jaunty in Angola. Yeah.
Oh, they're having the
they are
OECS
having
in Angola this year?
Yeah, they're having the Saturday is the OECS and the Sunday is the Jaunty race.
Oh, okay. So it's like a double header.
Yeah, after that those are the races that I'll be attending to.
But we also have a good calendar here in Antigua. Again, Antigua over the last 7 years have had the most proactive cycling season in the Eastern Caribbean. So this year I think we have about 13 races lined up. Even though we got off to a late start, there's about 13 races lined up. And after this weekend, which is the second event, at the end of the month, on the 27th, we have the Beat the Boats, which is a road runners organised race.
Yeah, I saw some ads I saw some stuff on Facebook.
That's correct.
What's the whole concept behind that?
Well, basically, the Peter and May round the island, round Antigua yacht race has been part of the race week calendar for many, many years. And we were invited last year by Antigua Race Week to find out if we were interested in putting on or hosting a race that could run against them, to enhance the sport tourism product. And we jumped at the opportunity. Roadrunners jumped at it. And I'd have to say the former president, Lindsay Duffy, was a key player in this. And she had the connections. I mean, I have the connections as well, but she is in the neighborhood, has a feel for the operation. And we've jumped on it we grabbed it with both hands. So this year we've actually started, we've been working on it. We've got a 53-mile race, similar to the race this weekend, but longer obviously. We start by Papa's by the Sea. We run down to Sweets and then over Fig Tree, come right round South Side. We cut through American Road, Old Palm Road, then back up through Cedar Valley, round the golf course, up to Hodges Bay, round the base circuit, Pigots, back out to Potworks, out to St. James Club, up to St. Philip's and Willoughby Bay View. We turn there, come back through Bethesda, Red Hill, Cobb's Cross to the finish. So again,
cyclists are racing against boats.
That's correct. The idea is that the yachts start at 6 in the morning. We coordinate our start with them, and we take off because the yachts actually have a 52 nautical mile distance. So what we're looking at this year in particular, we've increased our mileage by up to 53 miles, but it gives us, based on how we perform against the yachts, because last year we trounced them, I can now sit back and say, well, okay, our average speed and time is this amount for that distance. We can now design a formula which will allow us to create a multiplier that we can apply to the cycling, so we can make the races maybe more equal. If we trounce the yachts again, for example, by an hour, it's in our interest to make the race more competitive between the cyclists and the yacht, for maybe to increase the distance. So this year is a crunch year for us because it allows our club to sit down, create a formula that works with that. But the beauty of this event is that we attract a lot of crew members from the yachts, and they have over 1,000 crew members coming in from around the world, because there's over 99 yachts already registered, and they expect to go over 100 from 21 different countries, 22 different countries, over 1,000 members of yacht crew. So it lends itself well, because a lot of yachties, crewmen, use cycling as a fitness regime. So it's great when they can come and take part, you know, ride off the rum from the English Harbour party the night before, and boom, go out and race on the Sunday afterwards, you know. But
that's an
so that's the first race. That's the first major race after this weekend that young Rene will be gearing up for.
That's an interesting concept.
It is, and it's we look at it as a way of enhancing the Antiguan sports tourism product, because we have great weather virtually all year round. So it makes sense to capitalize on it, and you know, open our island up to you know, the rest of the world.
Excellent stuff, Rene. We want to thank you for joining us, and we're going to keep tabs on your performances, and hopefully, as always, the invitation is always open for you to come back and give us an update on what is going on. So again, thank you for joining us, and congratulations on all the good work that you're doing, and we look forward to hearing greater things in the not too distant future.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, good having you on board.
So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have Avon Joseph, and she's going to join us in our From the Parents Perspective segment. Stay tuned, we'll be back shortly on the GN Sports Show here on ABS Radio, TV, and of course, Facebook.
Every weekday, 9 to 10 a.m., join me for Life with Natalie on ABS Radio 90.5 FM. Life, let's claim it.
ABS will be holding auditions for a brand new program just for teens. To reserve an audition, spotlight our Facebook page, Wadadli Teen Scene, and inbox us a message. Audition forms can also be collected at our office in St. John's. You must be between the ages of 13 to 19 to be considered. Deadline to submit your interest for the new ABS Teen Show ends April 12th. Don't miss your opportunity to shine.
And we're back. Just before we get into from the parents' perspective, we can speak a little bit about the GN Advanced Academy.
Well, the Cannonier.
GN Advanced Academy that should be kicking off in September. And as always, my good friend Ricky is always working behind the scenes to make things happen, and I'm pretty sure he has made some headway in our ongoing negotiations to have all of that sorted out. Ricky, what's new? What's going on? Give us some info.
Well, all the gear has been ordered. It should be in Antigua towards the middle of May. It should be landed there. All the gear that's necessary for the training gear, the equipment, the balls, the ladders, all the paraphernalia that goes with the academy. Of course, we have already secured the coaches and that are going to be part of this organization, and we are going to have an official handing over of the gear with Mr. Cannonier on the 12th of June. And we're hoping to have coverage live on TV, and of course the President of the Football Association and hopefully the Minister of Sports will be attending that, because we consider it to be a major event, because it's a year-round training program that's going to be afforded to the, I'm going to say the 13s though. The 13th, on the 13th, I'm not confident. On the 13th, on the 15th.
Ricky is extremely confident. For those of you who may be new and just joining us, the concept of the Advanced Academy is inclusive of U15s, U17s, and females. The under 13s, we weren't absolutely certain about, but my good friend Mr. Santos has gone out on a limb and pretty much guaranteed that we're going to have that additional team. The concept is, and
let me put it to you this way: I've already ordered the uniforms.
Oh well, if you've already ordered the uniforms,
so they're on the way.
I know you're not going to make it. You're not going to let that go to waste. But the whole concept for new viewers, the whole concept of the Advanced Academy is to facilitate ongoing year-round training for, I don't want to say elite, but for
the more
talented players. And one of the things that's important for us to understand is that this is not limited to just the players from Generation Next. As a matter of fact, it's open. And it's going to be on an invite basis. It's going to be on a scouting basis, where the coaches who are involved, their first mandate is to go out and look at players and scout players, and in their estimation, select your more talented in each age group and invite them. Again, invite. And once these players, through their parents, of course, would have accepted the invitation, then the training will be made available completely free. The older age groups, the 15s and the 17s, would also be exposed to SAT classes once we figure out when the dates are. And the reason for that is because what we are looking at is preparing our youngsters not only physically for the sport, but also give them the opportunity and provide scholarship opportunities for these youngsters. And so the SAT scores, SAT exams become extremely important.
And the importance of what you just mentioned, Zico, in terms of it's open to all of Antigua. I want to make it absolutely clear that anybody that's invited or comes for trials to try and get into the academy, the Advanced Academy, anybody that does that are expected to go back and play for their respective club.
Yes.
We want to emphasize that strongly. That we want to emphasize.
And we'll keep emphasizing it, because usually that's one of the drawbacks. What does that mean? If my son goes to this Advanced Academy, what does that mean for his local club?
And also, it is not a guarantee that you will get in the national setup.
No, that's completely different. Okay, so
we'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. And joining us on the line, Avon Joseph, and she's a parent from one of our players in the U9s? U11s. Avon, good night, and thanks for joining us on the GN Sports Show.
Hi, good night. You're welcome. Good night to everyone on the panel.
Okay, and Avon, we just wanted your take on the importance of what we consider the importance of parents' support of the youngsters playing whatever sporting discipline they have, in terms of getting them to practices and getting them to matches and even supporting them. What's your views on that?
First off, for me, it is very important to me for always being present at my son's game, because it's like a situation where whenever I am around, he wants to be so impressive. He tries to impress me so much, and he performs to the best of his ability whenever I'm around. I mean, I'm not saying that when the other parent is not there, he doesn't do the same thing. But it's just like, hey, I have to do this for mommy. I have to do this for mommy. And he does it. I mean, the challenges that I have in terms of getting him to practice sessions, the Tuesdays, the Thursdays, and the Saturdays. Saturdays, I don't have a Saturday, because the Saturday is totally taken off with the football and whatever other activities that he would engage in. I would also encourage parents to support their child in whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish, because you never know exactly what they will become or whom they will become. So it's like you supporting whatever it is that they want to do is very important to them, because it let them see that you are interested in it, whatever it is that they are trying to accomplish. I mean, there are times when I would tell Kyle, hey Kyle, you're not going to go to football today, or as a punishment or whatever the situation is. And he would be like, oh, Mom, you're not supporting my sportsmanship. You know, he has this thing about him with his sportsmanship. So I don't know how it is for other parents and their children, but Kyle takes his football very seriously. So I just always want to, be there for him no matter what. The challenges in getting him to and from football on a weekly basis, it's really, really great, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
And sometimes also, Avon, it must be challenging in terms of balancing their schoolwork with the sport. At Generation X, we strongly believe that if a child is to be disciplined for whatever ills they may have done, one of the things that we highly recommend they don't do is to take away the sport. If you're going to punish, we think you should punish them with stop them from going to the movies, take away their phones, their iPads.
And take away the phone and the games and stuff like that.
So what are your views on that? Are you in the same thinking?
Well, to be honest with you, that doesn't work for Kyle. Taking away his phone and video games and privileges of playing with friends outside, that doesn't work for him at all. He doesn't really care about that. The only thing he cares about is football. So if I take football away from him as a punishment, that definitely is a punishment. It's a torture to him.
Okay, well that's fair. Every child is different.
The thing is, the thing is, Avon, I completely understand your situation, because nothing else worked for me either. Growing up, it was football and nothing else. And while my father was excellent in encouraging me to play and completely supportive, my mother was smart enough to figure out that, listen, the only thing that registers to this young man is when he can't go play.
Exactly.
And so what I can say for me, it worked, because I only needed to be punished with football once to understand that this is not something that I want to be taken away from me regularly.
To be taken away, right?
And so, I mean, looking back, for me, it's hard to say, yes, take the sport, but I understand that in Kyle's case, like mine, we didn't have cell phones that much, but you could have taken away my TV watching privileges, and it would not have bothered me. But the mention of not being able to play football, that got a response quicker than anything else. So I completely understand. Yes, we encourage parents to look at a different avenue, but at the end of the day, you would know your son better than most of us, all of us, and so you would understand what works. But we just want to encourage you to keep whatever it is that you're doing with Kyle. In terms of the support, it is working. We're seeing the improvement day to day in his training sessions. We're seeing the commitment, and that speaks volumes for what is happening off the field in terms of the support that he gets from the entire family circle. I know he has eyes on looking at what his uncle is doing in terms of playing at that level, and so that's all the encouragement he needs, and I'm pretty sure that is going to keep him motivated and keep him working.
Right. Yes.
And one of the things, Avon, also too, is that we notice that the support that is given to the younger age divisions, like Kyle division and come lower, is fantastic. But from the time they pass the under 13s going into the under 15s, they seem to dwindle in terms of the child support. I don't know if you have noticed it, and I'd like your views on it in terms of...
I have noticed it, but I think it's a situation where, when kids get to a certain age group, it's like, I don't want you to be, back in the time you're like, yeah, that's my son, go, Kyle. They don't want that on the field anymore. I think it's just a mentality of the kids for today. Not that the parents do not want to support, but they just think that they're just grown and they do not want to have the parents there, because they probably see it as an embarrassment if you're going to come and cheer them on and stuff like that. you know how some kids are. I think that's what the situation is.
I would still like to see more parental and friendship and relative support of the youngsters at the older age groups, to be honest, because it might take, they're still children at the end of the day.
Are.
So I would say, like, even, you may not have to go and be as vociferous as you were when they were in the younger age groups. Right. But I think it's important that it still carries on. I don't know what your views on that.
Well, for me, that ain't going to change when Kyle gets older. I can tell you that much. It's not going to change for me, but then I guess we will also have to take into perspective what the other parents are doing. Is it that they're too busy in terms of their workload or something of that sort why they can't be there? But personally for me, that will never be an issue where Kyle is concerned as long as he keeps on the path that he's on, because I'm going to be there no matter what. No matter the age group, I'm going to be there, but I'm going to show support for him.
But that's I'm very happy to hear that, and I hope the listening audience, whose kids are playing the sport, are hearing those comments too. And I'd also like to stress, not only to Avon, but to the listening and viewing audience, that it's important that they do encourage their youngsters to do the time management with the schoolwork and the sport, because because should they be afforded a scholarship in university, and I think Zika can attest to this, the professors in the university are not concerned about what games you have or training sessions. They want their work.
They are not concerned.
And the coaches are not concerned about what work you have to do. They want their training and they want to see you at matches. So it's good to start training them how to manage the time. And I'm glad to hear that you are on board with that in terms of assisting them. Because in the younger age, you need assistance in how to manage the time. But from the time you're showing them, like, you're one of the more dedicated parents, I must say, that are always there at practices and training, and also at matches. So I'd like more out there to follow your example, Avon.
Thank you.
Well, Avon, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and like we mentioned at the top, whatever it is that you're doing with Kyle off the field, it is working, so we want to encourage you to keep doing that. And again, thanks for joining us on the GN Sports Show, and we look forward to seeing a lot more great things from Kyle in the not too distant future.
Thank you, and I will keep it up. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Avon.
All right, bye.
Well, that was Avon Joseph.
And the interesting thing about Kyle, and it doesn't happen very often, most of our players don't walk up to the coach and say, you know what, I want to be a goalkeeper.
Yeah, he did that.
And there has been tremendous improvement. I've done a few sessions with him in terms of goalkeeping, and I must say he's extremely coachable, and he's always willing to work, and he's always willing to go the extra mile and get it done. And that speaks volumes for his commitment and his work ethic, and as long as he keeps training, as long as he keeps putting in the work, there is going to be that improvement. See, Dr. Rick is in the building. He's going to be joining us shortly. But just to finish up what we were discussing a couple of minutes ago about the Advanced Academy, what we're actually looking at is to ensure that these youngsters are prepared, not just in terms of football, but also in terms of their academics. And we would definitely emphasize the importance of the SAT classes, but also the importance of their work that they're completing now, even at the high school level, because those factors are taken into consideration in the whole recruiting process.
And one thing we can't emphasize enough also too is the generosity of the benefactor, the Cannonier Foundation, because all what we're doing holistically here, and you're talking about it started off at about 40, 45, it's going to be closer to 75, 80 kids that are going to be afforded this opportunity. And if it wasn't for the generosity of the Cannonier Foundation, this would not have been possible, because it's at no cost.
No cost to any of these
kids. You're talking about the training from 5 certified coaches, two of which is from Generation X. So the
Only-
majority,
only two.
The majority are not from Generation X. And the SAT class is to go with the training and at no cost, and they're getting their uniforms, they're getting everything.
Training gear, travel gear, to and from training, all
Yes,
of that.
all of that. And it's thanks to the Cannonier Foundation. And we have with us now
Resident doctors in the building.
Yeah, Dr. Rick Millis.
Dr. Rick Millis from the American University of Antigua. I got it right this time. You
got it.
Yes.
School of Medicine.
School of Medicine.
Don't forget that part.
Or you can say College of Medicine.
College of Medicine.
Yes, why not?
Okay, and first of all, we'd like to apologize for you for last week. We were supposed to do that phone in, but
No apologies. I was in Puerto Rico having a ball.
Okay. When you say having a ball, you were playing basketball, I assume.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I wish I would have been able to find a basketball game there, but I was very busy at meetings and other activities.
Well,
I loved it.
I've been out for a couple of weeks, so you guys got to fill me in. What was the last discussion about?
Well, that was 2 weeks ago, so
See, nobody remembers.
No,
Well,
so
that's good because that means I can say anything and nobody
excellent.
will remember anything.
No,
so-
from the time you mentioned it, you'll come back.
Yeah, so we were talking about hydration, but the hottest thing this week in the health news is nothing to do really with sports, although everything, of course, has something to do with sports, but has more to do with children and youth, but is also relevant to adults. Mayor of New York, do you know what he did this week?
No, tell me.
He imposed a requirement in Brooklyn, certain neighborhoods in Brooklyn, for measles vaccinations, and people who are not vaccinated were banned from public places, imposed a $1,000 fine. It's a misdemeanor if you
to not be vaccinated.
do not be vaccinated. If you, of course, it's a very hard thing to
I imagine it being hard to regulate.
to enforce. But if you get the measles, that's proof that you were not protected, you were susceptible, and that you did not get vaccinated. And then, of course, they can take you to court, impose a fine, you can even be imprisoned. But that's very interesting because,
Is it because it's an outbreak of measles?
yes, there's an outbreak of measles. And I think it's instructive for all of us, wherever we are in the world, to realize we're a global community.
Yes. I was about to
And
say
we
that.
have to think about global health. And so if we think about that, let's think about what happened in Brooklyn, and this is going on in the United States. And by the way, we don't want to scare anybody here. This is not going on in Antigua. Nowhere in the West Indies do I know of any kind of outbreak of measles. Measles has been pretty much eradicated throughout the Americas and most of the world. You know, about 20 years ago, there would be several million people every year who would die of measles. Now, it's down, but not totally eradicated. About 100,000, from several million to only 100,000 worldwide. And of course, those are people who are not vaccinated. After 1963, the vaccination came out. So, were you born after 1963?
Of course.
Yes. So you were vaccinated, but we were not.
No, I wasn't.
But we probably had the measles.
Well, how great is
And
that,
so we
Doc?
got our immunity from getting the measles.
How do you know I wasn't born after 1963?
Okay, you're right. I don't know for sure. I'm just, unlikely.
So you just said we.
Very unlikely that you were born after 1963, Ricky. Very
Right.
unlikely.
So we get this feeling that everybody is immune and nobody is susceptible because it's been eradicated, but that's not true at all. So I implore all the parents that are watching, make sure your kids' vaccinations are up to date. The measles vaccination comes with the MMR, measles, mumps,
I remember looking at my chart and seeing those.
Yes,
And
and
as I got,
rubella, which is the German measles.
Right. As I got older, I figured out what it was, MMR.
Yes, MMR, and they get two of them. One about 1 year, the other about 5
About
years.
5 years.
So make sure your kids are up to date because what happened in Brooklyn is very interesting. Somebody traveled abroad and who was susceptible and got infected, came back
And passed it on.
and passed it on to a child, to even a child. You know, under 6 months, you can't get the vaccine, so you're very susceptible. So young children are very susceptible. Adults who've not been vaccinated are very susceptible.
So how did the measles pass? Did you have to have touch, or is it airborne?
Well, it's very interesting that 9 out of 10 of people you come in contact with, if you have the measles, will get it. That's how contagious it is. And it's usually by airborne. Sneezes, saliva, coughs, mucus from your nose, all the, discharges from, the respiratory tract.
And what about if you were not vaccinated, but you had contracted the measles? Could you get it a second time?
Generally not. I'm sure there are some exceptions to that.
Because I've had the measles.
Yes, and so have I. I think, but...
No, I've had it.
Clearly.
You have to ask your mother, because do you remember it?
Yes, I remember.
Oh, you do remember it?
Yeah.
See, I don't remember. I know I probably had it, but I don't remember.
It was in 1967.
Yeah, that's how I know you weren't born.
Oh, so you got it at an advanced age.
I would not respond to that statement.
I mean, you were a teenager.
No, I was not a teenager. But
you were in your 20s.
See, the proof is in the pudding.
1967, I had the measles, and I think in '66 I had the mumps though. So,
okay.
So I had them pretty close, but the mumps to me was more painful. I mean, that was with all the swollen glands all across.
Painful because you couldn't eat.
You couldn't eat, you couldn't talk, you struggled to breathe anyway.
So there's high fever. We know there's a very bad rash.
Yeah.
There are these spots in your mouth that appear in the beginning and then they disappear. So when there's spots in the mouth, in the cheek, in the inner cheeks of the mouth, and they appear, it's just transient, but it's an indication that you have it and it's probably going to get worse.
Well, what's the difference?
And then you have a respiratory tract infection that people could think is a cold or a flu, but because it's basically the same thing, sneezing and coughing and all of that. But of course, the cold doesn't come with the rash.
No. Right.
And the very high fever. And then there are other things, and people will die usually of the diarrhea that is associated with it. Because the same virus that infects the respiratory tract then goes on, in some cases, not all, to infect the gastrointestinal tract, and there's this very severe watery diarrhea. And just like when we talked about sweating, the electrolyte depletion, of course, can cause seizures and, people to get very, very sick, especially if they're young.
I notice there's more of the likelihood that children would not be vaccinated. I notice a phenomena in the States where parents opt in to
not vaccinate.
Yeah, we call them the anti-vaxxers.
Right, and
there are whole organizations.
I'm curious in your professional opinion, what are some of the reasons, or give me a particular reason why?
Well, there are many reasons that are given, and none of them are valid. This is what.
Some of it is religious.
This is what everybody, the new code word that our President Trump, not your president, but my President Trump has adapted, is called fake news. Right? Well, this is fake news that people can get autism, from vaccines, okay, and from measles vaccine, especially not. And that people can get the measles from it, and that people can get very, very sick from these vaccines. So, all kind of misinformation about that. Then, of course, there's other things that's very interesting.
No, but I have to pick you up with that, because when we did the MMR vaccine with our son, with my son, he got extremely sick, very sick. So I can speak to that fact that it did happen. I experienced that with him. And I was one of them that was starting to say, well, wait a second, do we really need this vaccine? Because he was pretty ill. We had to take him to the hospital.
Yes, and there are some people who don't respond to the vaccine. It's very rare. And there are some people who do get sick from it. But the point is that those cases are very, very rare. And the protection you get from it certainly outweighs any of those minor risks. you know.
Yes, okay.
But people cannot die from, for example, the measles vaccine. So everybody should, of course, get it. So the anti-vaxxers go even further. They say that there's rat, monkey, maybe cat,
all the lab animals.
DNA in it. And so people, you know, on religious grounds, for example, Orthodox Jews who have to remain kosher and can't have any pig. That's what I was thinking about, the pig. Not the cat or dog, actually. Rat and pig DNA in the vaccine. And so they think that, of course, that's getting into their body, that those cells, perhaps the DNA is in cells that get in the body. But the vaccines are highly purified so that the DNA that you would get from it or any cells that you would get from it have been removed, you see? And so the point is you're getting the antibodies.
Yeah, but isn't any vaccine and isn't it a part of the disease itself that they put into it? A smaller dosage just so you...
Yes, but it's been... In vaccines, it's either been attenuated or killed. The virus has been killed. But it is grown in cultures of cells. And it might be grown in cultures of monkey cells or pig cells. But then all of those cells are removed, and it's not. In fact, the Orthodox rabbis have already determined pretty much that it's kosher, it's appropriate, it's fine to get these vaccines, and everybody should be protected. And so the anti-vaxxers, that's their story, you know, that they're passing on all this misinformation, saying that, you know, it's a conspiracy, for example, that it's a government conspiracy too. And it comes from mistrust, you know. People who mistrust their government will make up all kind of reasons why they shouldn't follow guidelines. But it protects everybody by what we call herd immunity. You've heard of that, herd immunity?
Yes.
Yes. So the point is, if 93% or 90% or 95% of the population has it, well, if only 5% or 7% doesn't get vaccinated, that's okay, because those people are protected by the fact that they're not going to come in contact with anybody who has it from that community. But what does global health mean? Now we're traveling all over.
And, so, and in short spaces of time.
Yes, and we can therefore get it and bring it. And now those 5 or 7 or 10% of people who didn't get vaccinated or susceptible are no longer protected by herd immunity if we introduce the disease, you see, from somewhere else.
Yeah, but to be honest, whereby I think everybody should get the vaccination, to be honest. Whereby that I believe they should. I believe everybody has a right, a human right, to whether to take the vaccination or not. I don't think it should be forced upon them. So I'm not in agreement with the mayor.
You're not in agreement with Mayor de Blasio. That's a very interesting discussion.
But the thing is,
because it takes away my right from my body. Because to be honest, it's a conflict with particularly Mayor de Blasio. It's a conflict with him because he's an abortion rights supporter, whereby a woman decides what she does with her body. Well, then the same right should be passed on to any individual who does not want to take it. I don't agree with it, but I think they should reserve that right.
But the thing is, it's very tricky, because while I totally support individual rights, but now we're looking at a situation where you can be sick and make me sick in the process. So
no, but you can't get sick if you took the vaccination. Am I right?
True.
So the only person that would suffer is the one who didn't take it. Am I correct, Doc?
Well, we're hoping.
Well, hold on.
Okay, that's what I'm trying.
The problem is that you are going to come in contact with 20 people in a matter of a day or a half a day.
Right.
And since 9 out of 10 people that you come in contact with are probably going to get it, if some of those people are susceptible, Now remember, not only could they be unvaccinated, but maybe there are people with weakened immune systems who couldn't get the vaccine. There are those people. Or young children under 6 months.
Under 6 months.
You see? Or their parents who were not vaccinated or are susceptible. Or it could be the rare case of the vaccine not taking.
Not working for the individual. So
it's,
even outside of that, let's say 7 to 10% of the population who are actively and consciously deciding not to get vaccinated,
Yes.
there's still a small percentage of the population for multiple reasons would be susceptible.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
It's an interesting.
Well, would Ricky, would you like to hear what the Supreme Court of the United States had to say about that?
Well, I'm not a particular fan of anything in the United States because they seem to have so many conflicting views that you know, one person would support one thing today and support something different tomorrow, and you know.
Well, this was a long time ago, back in 1900. There was something called the plague.
Yes, I remember.
You heard of it?
Yeah.
And it wiped out, you know, large populations, millions, not thousands like we have with the measles now worldwide, knocking out killing 100,000 people worldwide, which is nothing, you know, that's still substantial. You know, and again, the numbers don't mean anything, the statistics don't mean anything if you're the one who gets it.
Yes.
So the point is during the plague, they had the issue of burning houses, quarantining people, keeping people away, and the Supreme Court of the United States had to, of course, decide cases where people were, just like Ricky, saying, no, I can't, the government can't force me to, you know, stay home or have my house burned, because in those days we didn't have antibiotics.
Had to get rid of
didn't always
everything.
know the cause of it, and people lost their property. And so the Supreme Court, and this decision still holds, said that in view of the common good from either vaccination or burning your house or quarantine, it outweighs your individual rights because it's for the common good, and the risks to global health or the risks to the community health are so severe that they far outweigh your individual rights.
That's interesting. That's
Yes, and I think that's, of course, what Mayor de Blasio in New York is going at.
Yeah, I think he's more along the lines of ensuring that large percentages of the population doesn't.
Right, look at the downside. If he doesn't do it and it spreads, come on, he's going to be...
He's at some point he's going to be
criticized for it.
He's going to be criticized and probably held accountable and liable for a lot of it.
So someday, that's, you know, this issue you might have to confront this issue.
No, I'm still of the view that it should be my determination. And as I said, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that a woman has a right to have an abortion, which incidentally I'm against, apart from special circumstances. But then you're telling me that I don't have the right to not take a vaccination. It doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make sense. You can't have it both ways. If a woman has a right to have an abortion, then I should have a right not to take a vaccination because it's my body. Because that's the basis of what they're saying. It's a woman's body. So if you use that analogy.
If you use that analogy, but those aren't equivalent cases, so that's the problem. But let's not argue that.
Okay.
But
we could argue that. But
we could argue that. But the main idea here, the main concept, the reason I wanted to bring it up, is because we want to alert parents, you know, that they make sure that the vaccinations are up to date, that people are traveling back and forth.
And
with Sailing Week, come on, people are coming from all over the world here.
Not just that. A lot of us here in Antigua and the Caribbean, we have relatives that are mainly based in
in the States.
In the States and
And
primarily
Canada,
in New York. So
Yeah,
it's not
Yes.
it's not far fetched. It's not not a totally out there concept that
It's not.
on vacation you could run into somebody who's susceptible to this and then that becomes a problem.
Right. There's for example, for measles, there's an incubation period of about 5 to 10 days where a person has been infected and they're not showing any symptoms. So you think they're just fine, and they're not.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm a proponent of that they should be taking the vaccination.
But not just forced.
But I don't think it should be forced. But I think they should do it.
But okay, so let's take the case that a person that there is an outbreak. By the way, folks, there is no outbreak here in Antigua. So
Or the Caribbean.
Or the Caribbean. We don't want to scare people. We're just talking about, individual protection.
And advanced protection.
And advanced protection to make sure that it doesn't happen here. But let's say then, Ricky, to take your argument a step further, that there is an outbreak and you don't want to be vaccinated. Should you be banned from public places? Because the fact that you're not protected, you could be harboring the virus and then
I would agree
not
with
know
that.
it, and then you can pass it on.
I would agree with that. There are consequences to your action. So if you decide that you don't want to take the vaccination, then there should be consequences because you don't want, for the greater good, well then, okay, fine, that's your option, but then you can't go there, until everything is quelled.
Well, that's the other part of Mayor de Blasio's
that part I agree with.
enactment.
That part I agree with.
That he's banning people who are not vaccinated from public places in
that
these communities where
that
there's
I
an
agree
outbreak.
with. I agree with that 100%. If you made that conscious decision that you're not getting vaccinated, then you live with that decision you have made. There are consequences to every action.
But
so I don't have no issue
Now here's
with
the scary part about measles. I told you diarrhea was scary, but there's something even scarier. Once you have the measles virus could be in your body for years, and then under some stress we don't understand, come out and make you very sick, even put you in a coma, death, and produce what we call encephalitis, an inflammation of the brain. And that period has been shown to be as long as 27 years. There was a case where a person had the measles, and it wasn't until 27 years later that he started having seizures, and it was identified that at autopsy that he had the virus in his brain.
Wow.
All that.
Well,
that
at least I'm past that 27
Yeah.
years since I had the measles.
Yeah.
Oh, but
I mean, there are children, for example, who get the measles young, and they're fine, and 5 years later they get very sick, and they become wheelchair bound, and their parents have to take care of them for the rest of their life. So that's very sad.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a good reason to scare people enough to make sure their vaccines are up to date.
That's really interesting, and I think it's something that we can track. What I find and what I anticipate to be very difficult is how the good gentleman, the good mayor in New York is going to regulate all of that. But you know what? Excellent topic, Dr. Rick. Again, as always, want to thank you for joining us. And
next week.
Yeah, but that's definitely a story that we're going to keep tracking, and hopefully we can, once
And
that makes some
hopefully we'll
traction.
never have to discuss about some sort of outbreak here,
Excellent
because
stuff.
everyone will be protected.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, our time here is up. Another exciting edition of the GN Sports Show. Just to let our listening and viewing audience know, we won't be on next Thursday. So you're going to join us the following week, right back, same time, same place. We want to thank our sponsors from the Generation Next Academy. We also want to thank our good friends at ABS TV for giving us the airtime and facilitating and hosting us. Good evening, Dr. Rick. Thanks for joining us. Ricky,
Just one thing before
co-hosting tonight.
Just one thing before you go.
You're gonna get into trouble with Shannon.
No. I'm not gonna get into it. I just wanted to know what happened to your arm over here. I see a bandage in it.
I had a little bit of treatment on my shoulder.
You had a little bit of treatment, yeah.
Yes,
And then what caused that incident?
Yeah.
Was it playing football?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's part and parcel
yes,
of my job.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm just telling you, you're getting a little old.
I've
for
been
that
injured
now.
many times.
Stay with what you're doing really well in coaching.
I've been injured many times as a youngster. So the good thing is I heal and I bounce back quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you guys 2 Thursdays from now on the GN Sports Show. Definitely looking forward to you joining us. But enjoy the rest of your evening and good night.
You are in tune with the nation's stations, ABS TV Channel 10, the GIS, and ABS Radio 90.5 FM. Proudly serving you, reaching more and more people every day.